So now we get to this disappointing as fuck movie. Once again, the reason I have this DVD is a long while ago, a family member got this for me as a gift because they know I enjoy Stallone. And I saw this in the theater and I hated it. Gave this another chance and I fucking hate it. I hate this movie because this movie is a definition of disappointment. And the fact that this fucking movie is getting a trilogy. Stallone, State Plane 2 he's in, it's filming or is done filming. And now there's going to be an Estate Plan 3 before Estate Plan 2 is even out or even finished. And I don't even know if it's even going to come to theaters. I would not be surprised if it came direct to video. Why? Why does this film get a trilogy? Oh, Cobra, that guy back there can't get a fucking trilogy. We can't get a trilogy of Tango and Cash. We can't get a trilogy of Cobra. But we did a trilogy of Estate Plan. Can't even have a Tango and Cash 2. Can't even have a Cobra 2. But we did Estate Plan 2 and 3. The film did even make that much fucking money. I know it bombed here in the US. I guess it made some foreign money. Enough that they don't make 2 more fucking films. And I don't even think Arnold's even in them. That was kind of the hook for this film that no one went to see in the fucking US of A. Stallone and Schwarzenegger finally actually together, not just Arnold in a tiny role in the Expendables film. You get the guy who did 1408, which I enjoy, but who also did The Right with Anthony Hopkins, an exorcism movie that fucking sucked. Not the guy to get for this. But of course, I guess to them it was, because it's not an action movie. You finally get these two guys together. And it's not for an action film, it's for a fucking prison escape thriller. Thriller, except there's no thrills. I know what people could say. I'm doing this because if I don't do this, I'm going to yell and hurt my voice. People will say, well, Matt, they're too old. What can they do for action? They're too old. Have you seen Death Wish 3? Charles Bronson was probably older in that than these two guys. And you can point and shoot at a gun and have a nice bloody squib. Anybody can do that, including these guys. I'm not saying they need to have fight scenes like the Raid Redemption. You just have fisticuffs. I have an old school manner. Hell, Arnold could do that fight scene from Commando with Bennett this day and age because I love the fight scene in Commando. But again, it's not a martial arts heavy, moving everywhere, up, down, center. It's a brawl. John Wayne and all these guys were doing brawls when they were that age too in westerns. So don't tell me you can't do it with that age. It's the fact that they just wanted to make a thriller, except it's not thrilling. And there's a little featurette here, and the first thing on the featurette is Stallone saying that this film is totally original. Totally original. Totally original. Sly, I love you, Sly, but totally original. I guess you've never seen a film called Fortress with Christopher Lambert, aka Christopher Lambert. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Have you seen Fortress, Sly? Have you seen that movie? Which is better than this movie? It was done on a quarter of the budget? Or a tenth of the budget? Also, you yourself did a prison drama escape movie where you have a warden who's a sadistic asshole, where you have a fucking scene where you're climbing, you're reaching up, and oh shit, there's an electrical wire that fucks you up. And Lock Up. I remember seeing was climbing up, and the electrical electrical cable tries to hit him. Same thing happens here. And you're a person that has escaped prison before and locked up because he wanted to go to his father's funeral. So you have a guy who has escaped prison before, has had some tragedy in his life. Here, his wife and kid were murdered by a guy. And lockup, his father died. And he wanted to escape to go see the funeral because they wouldn't let him. So he escaped. And you have this warden who is completely evil, trying to escape, almost get electrocuted by a cable. And you have the sadistic guard, either that big fuck that was ready and willing to beat up Sly and lock up. The Stallone ground, put up against the rail and just beat the fuck out of him. Here is Vinnie Jones. And then, how is it totally original, Sly, when you did this movie called Lockup? And I love Lockup. Lockup is an underrated movie with a great performance by Sly. Lockup I love. I mean, I did the review. If you didn't see it, feel free to check it out. Lockup I love. That's not an action film either, but the bits of action is more entertaining than this, and that's not starring two of the biggest action stars of all time finally together in one movie. And guess what? Donald Sutherland would beat the fuck out of Jim Caviezel in this movie with one hand tied behind his back, his balls tied behind his ass, and his feet tied together. Donald Sutherland and his character in Lockup could beat the fuck out of Jim Caviezel. You know what that film had for a cast? People like Sonny Landham and John Amos and Frank McRae, while this has fucking 50 Cent. A guy who's not worth 2 fucking pennies, let alone 50 cents. Do you know, when you had a phone and you hit that thing to get your change back, can you get the money back? Because 50 Cent didn't act. He's an actor, but he didn't act. Can you get your money back? I know Sly, I've wanted him for the first Expendables. I have no idea why. Why is 50 Cent getting these jobs? He can't act. He can't act for shit. He can't do anything for shit. 50 Cent, my ass. Maybe if you paid him 50 cents, because that's as much effort he gave, 50 cents worth. Take those 2 quarters, shove them up your ass. And here he's playing a computer tech guy. And his character is completely fucking pointless. Because him and this woman are on Stallone's team. And once in a while it pops back to them and just 50 Cent giving some exposition. There's this thing I found called The Tomb. Because originally this film was called The Tomb. Because the place they were at was called The Tomb. But him and the woman, sorry about that, they don't find Stallone. They don't help him out of the escape. They don't send any people to rescue them. Reinforcements. So they literally are useless and pointless in the film. He could easily have just had Stallone by himself. There is no other fucking reasons for them to be in the film. There are none. They're not good characters. 50 Cent is not an actor, in my opinion. I don't even give a shit about his fucking songs. Ice-T can act on him. Fucking Vanilla Ice can act better than fucking Ice. Fucking 50. 50 years, 50 decades, $50, $50, 50 shits are gray. I don't give a fuck. You're going over the top. Yes, I am, because this movie sucks. And this has a higher fucking rating than Lockup on IMDb. Well, In My Damn Butt Cheeks is what it should be called. Lockup has a... I know who gives a shit about IMDb. I know. But I use that as a point of reference just to judge sort of, wow, more people rated Escape Plan higher than Lockup? Why? Oh, Stallone and Schwarzenegger are in it. Yeah, and Arnold doesn't even show up until half an hour in the fucking movie. There's barely any action. When it's there, it's fucking boring. It's a boring movie. The prison looks boring. It's just a bunch of glass. See-through wall glass. Just like this. There's nothing interesting or intriguing about the fucking prison. I almost wanted to puke over my fucking keyboard. People know it's not that bad. What is so good about the film? More importantly, how can you not be disappointed by a film in which you finally get these two together? You finally get them together. And they do nothing. You get these two guys together and you don't even make an action movie. Isn't that sort of the obvious choice? Hey, I got these two guys together. They're the two biggest action stars of all time. They finally get the co-star in a film together. But no, we're not going to make it an action movie. We're going to make it a drama, thriller, prison escape film. If you want to take place in a prison, fine. But you just still make it an action movie. Fucking Death Warrant. And I think that's a better action movie than this. Well, of course, it's not an action movie. Even though some places call this an action movie. I mean, the NYC movie guru Avi Offer. Exciting, edge of your seat action? Then I guess you haven't seen action scenes. And you've never seen action films? You've never seen any action. I know that's being rude. I'm going overboard. But fuck that bullshit. This guy got paid to review this movie and get away with saying this stupid bullshit? I'm jealous. That's what I'm fucking jealous. I can say bullshit like this and get my fucking name on a DVD? Fuck. The opening, Sly's in prison. He fights two with the shiv because they're ready to shiv him. And it's filmed up close, too close. Because this director has never shot an action film, and they didn't want an action film. A thriller with some action in it. And the guy doesn't know how to shoot action. So again, this little fight scuffle is filmed up too close, way too up close. He escapes. And then he gets released by this other guy who works with him, Vincent D'Onofrio. And he tells the warden that this guy is Ray Breslin. He tests the integrity of maximum security prisons. Which I will admit is an interesting idea. And the way he escaped is vaguely intriguing. He used wax laminate from chocolate melt to put on the keypad. He had this little toilet paper. He made it wet to little balls so that when the little slot that opens, he could put it in there. And so when it closes, it's not really locked. And he counted the routines of the guards. And I just see it vaguely interesting. Then you have 50 cents, a computer guy who I don't buy. Don't buy for $1 or 50 cents or 5 cents or even a piece of my fucking lint from my fucking belly button. I'm sorry, I don't like the fucking guy. I don't know him personally, but every time he's in something, it sucks. And the movie, well, he sucks. He was in Home of the Brave with Sam Jackson. He fucking sucked. He had a little cameo in Spy, and he fucking sucked. And he was playing himself. And he still sucked. He wasn't even... What's the word I'm looking for? He wasn't even authentic playing himself. And then Stallone gets this job for this new prison. He just picked up in this van. He just drugged. He sees Vinnie Jones, this asshole guard, kill a guy, throw him out of the plane. And they arrive in this see-through prison. And going ahead, Later on, you find out this prison is on a ship. Oh yeah, you mean like Face Off? Which I'm not the biggest fan of Face Off. I would rather watch that than this movie. Face Off I have problems with because I feel it's a bit too long, and I just prefer Hard Target and Broken Arrow and Hard Boiled. And Hard Target and Broken Arrow don't get the pass and praise that Face Off did, so I think that kind of sucks in my opinion. But Face Off, I didn't hate the film. It's there. It has its moments. But yeah, I would gladly watch that over this bullshit. Because it actually has action and some damn good stunt work, like the boat sequence. It's a pretty decent shootouts. Like in the airplane hangar location near the beginning of the film. Here, and again, I go back to that interview from Slice when he said this was totally original. I guess he never saw Fortress with Christopher Lambert or Face Off, or I guess he never saw his own movie Lockup. I'm sure he doesn't like the film. So that's why he never saw it? Because he just, I don't like it. I'm not going to see it, so I don't remember for this. Or he saw one time decades ago and never saw it again, so he forgot about it. I didn't forget. We're 30 minutes in, and Arnold shows up. And starts trying to talk with Sly. And Arnold goes, fuck him. And Sly goes, right, fuck him. And Stallone gets taken to see Jim Caviezel, who's the warden. And he's this weird guy who deals with butterflies. And I'm sorry, I didn't care for Jim Caviezel in the film. He did nothing for me as the warden. I thought he was pretty lame, to be honest. Stallone asks Arnold, because Arnold says he can get him anything, I need to get into the isolation chamber. So Arnold's like, okay, and hits him. Sly hits him back. Arnold laughs. You hit like a vegetarian. And they have pretend fighting. You finally get these guys. I'm trying to get to my point of why this film disappointed me so much. And people are going to say, I don't get it, Matt. It's a good movie. You finally get these two guys together. The two biggest fucking action stars in the longest time. It's not an action film. It's a film that's fucking boring. You have a guy who's never handled action before. You have very short spurts of action that are completely unmemorable. On top of that, you get these two guys in a fight. And it's a fake pretend fight. They throw like 2 punches at each other, and then they get arrested. 2 punches. Arnold does like a suplex. Sly tries to choke Arnold, and Arnold goes, hey, it's pretend. They get pulled away and put into isolation. You finally get these two guys together, and the only fight they have with each other is a pretend fight. Am I the only one in the world that sees that as a bunch of horse shit? That sees that as lame as fuck? Am I the only one? And speaking of lockup again, wow, Stallone in an isolation, and they fuck with him via lights. Like lockup. Remember when the warden was fucking with him? Get him up. And he had to say his name and his number. Name, number. Here it's torture with lights, but it's also heat as well. Totally original, huh, Sly? That's another scene from Lockup. I think there was an interview on YouTube where it was Arnold and Sly, and someone mentioned, I don't think they actually said Lockup, but oh, you did a prison movie before, and I think Stallone mentioned how, well, that didn't work out well, but this one works out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously? Sorry, man. I disagree with you, Sly. Wholeheartedly. You want to say Lockup is shit? Give this the pass and give this 3 movies? I don't get it. I don't get it. Sam Neill is in there in a nothing role. He's a doctor, and throughout the film, like 2 times, Sly says, "Remember your oath." And by the way, this is my name. Well, before he does that, look up this book and this page, and this is what it says. And then the next time they meet, Sam Neill goes, "How did you know that?" "Because I wrote that book. Remember your oath." Like, Sam Neill appears 4 times in the film. One, when he first visits Sly after the isolation chamber, because Sam Neill's the doctor of this prison facility. When one moment where Sly gets hurt, and I forget exactly what it was. Tells him that thing I just told you. Then the next time when he says, Sam Neill asks, "How did you know that?" "Because I wrote the book." And then Sam Neill giving these instructions and typing on a computer to Arnold's friends who's going to arrive there in a helicopter. And you never see Sam Neill again. He disappears into thin fucking air. Maybe he went back to the fucking event horizon. I don't know what the fuck happened to Sam Neill. I don't know. Maybe he fell into the world and is living a book of Sutter Kane. I don't know what the fuck happened to Sam Neill. He just disappeared. He flew back to Jurassic Park. I don't know. Arnold sees Caviezel, and yeah, I got a few chuckles out of Arnold. Because this whole time Jim Caviezel has Arnold there, because Arnold supposedly knows where this other guy is. And Arnold won't tell him. Arnold at this point says, "Okay, I'll tell you where he is. I'll draw you a map." And he's drawing, and he shows a picture of a guy's ass. He's there. That gave me a chuckle. And then they almost drown and waterboard Arnold. Arnold talks with Sly. He needs a diversion and to go back in the isolation box because he knows that he can deal with the rivets and get under it and see where they're at and maybe escape. So Arnold calls this guy's mom a whore. Although I did not need to have Arnold, when he's talking about dick sucking, to do this. I don't need to see Arnold do this. Okay? I don't need to see him do this. It's something I never needed to see Arnold do in the film. To look like he's filleting something. So they get back in the isolation box. Arnold does some diversion by talking in German, like he's going crazy. Which was nice to hear Arnold talking in German. It's very, very, very rare that you got to do that. So that was kind of cool. Sly's able to get through. He grabs the cables, electrical, trying to escape, like lock up. Same fucking thing, but yet this is totally original. Once in a while, just about the 57 lady who are pointless in this film. Again, they don't find out exactly where he's at. They don't send help. They don't send reinforcements. They don't get Sly out of there. They don't. There's literally no reason. Sly could have been just by himself, and this stuff could have been cut out for the pacing. The movie's almost 2 hours long, and it's fucking boring. Just nothing happens. Then they start fucking with Stallone, waking him up, just like Lock Up. The only thing they didn't do is tell Stallone that they don't rape his girlfriend. Or have Arnold and Sly build a fucking car and drive off into the yard. Sly knows his routines of the guards. Sly tells Jim Caviezel he'll get Arnold to tell him some info. But then he tells Arnold, by the way, you're being played, go along with it. Tells him there's going to be a riot here, but it's really going to be here. You have this whole thing where they talk to the guy. I think it's the same guy Arnold called the guy's mama whore. I'm not sure if maybe it's someone else. Says, "Listen, I know you don't like me, but if you want to escape, you got to do this." And the guy asks, "I must pray to Allah, and I must be outside to do it, and I'll give you info." or what Arnold's been talking to me about. He does, and he puts this thing here that gives coordinates. So Stallone reads those coordinates and figures out they're off of Morocco. So jump to the riot happens, but it's in a different area. Stallone fucks with one camera. I guess one camera connects to every fucking camera on the ship for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. Like, he messes with one camera, and somehow just these three little wires, all the cameras are now on them, where, Stallone tells Arnold and the other guy, say cheese, and one gives the middle finger, and the Arnold smiles at him. And throughout the stuff, like during the little riot, you have some routine punches thrown. When they get done, some routine gunshots. If you put them all together, it would equal probably 50 seconds. Literally. Maybe a minute. All put together. Arnold punches one guy, Stallone punches one guy. The camera's shaking. Stallone gets in a really shitty fight with Vinnie Jones, which maintains the fact that if Vinnie Jones is in a movie, it's going to suck. He was in Submerged with Steven Seagal, which sucked. He was in, what was that? The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that film sucked. He's in this movie, and it sucks. Pretty much if Vinnie Jones is in the movie, it's going to suck. And he gets in a shitty fight with Stallone, where Stallone disarms this knife the guy has. He gets kicked. Some punches are thrown back. Then Vinnie Jones gets this wrench and hits Stallone on the leg. Stallone gets this, I don't know what you call it. It looks like a fucking squeegee, or it looks like a fucking broom. Just hits Vinnie Jones in the face a couple times, pushes him down the stairs, and the guy dies from that. Really lame. Stallone escapes down below, gets into the water fuel conversion tank, and then at a certain point it flushes, so that's how he's able to get off the ship into the water. Meanwhile, Arnold gets to his buddies at the helicopter, grabs a gun, and shoots for literally 10 seconds. Literally 10 seconds. You give Arnold a machine gun, you have him fire it for 10 fucking seconds. Arnold's in the helicopter. Hey, get down, he's down there. They get Sly. Caviezel comes up, hits Arnold in the shoulder, shooting at Sly. Arnold drops the gun to Sly. Sly shoots at these explosive barrels, and his one-liner is, boom. Boom. Again, you get these two guys together, and the best one-liner you can give is someone of an action star status like this saying, boom. When I go bang, kapow. No, boom. That sort of sums it up, doesn't it? Boom. That's how much effort they put into this. Then they get somewhere, they escape, they get somewhere, they land, and then Arnold reveals that he is the guy the bad guys were looking for. He pretended to be the guy who knew him, but he was really the guy. Some guy who they stole from the rich and gave to the poor and so forth. And they kind of set Stallone up as well, because the woman we saw at the beginning that offered him the job was Arnold's daughter, and they wanted Stallone there because he escapes prisons. But Sly seems pretty chill about it. So Arnold set up Sly so he could get out. The score is completely forgettable. I don't remember one single note from the score. The screenplay is piss poor. It just makes me think of better movies, whether it be Lock Up, whether it be Fortress. The cast, 50 Cent sucked. Stallone seems like he's sleepwalking almost. Like he. You look at his performance in Lock Up, and there's tension and energy and intensity. Like when he has that switch and he tied up Donald Sutherland. Come on, kill me now. Come on, shoot me. And he's listening about, you know, the beatings. The guy who killed the kid. The guy was going to rape my girlfriend. I'm not saying the exact dialogue, but the meaning behind it. Here, there's none of that. Maybe certain glimpses, but it's a very. At best, it's an average performance by Stallone. And Arnold got some chuckles out of me, but it's crazy that he doesn't appear till half an hour into the fucking movie. And when they do share scenes together, there's not much memorable dialogue. What the most memorable one is, you hit like a vegetarian. What, boom? The villains are lame. Vinnie Jones sucks and everything. Jim Caviezel, I thought, was a lame villain. It's boring. It's slowly paced. There's barely any fucking action. Once in a blue moon, action happens that is piss poor, forgettable, and I've seen better in direct-to-video films like Blood and Bone or Wake of Death or Ninja's Shadow of a Tear. And this shit just doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. It's it's boring. It's slow. It's disappointing as fuck. You have these two guys together, and you wasted it. And even in the prison's nothing to run home about. Nothing really that cool or imaginative about it. Or again, just watch Fortress or Christopher Lambert. I hate this movie, man. I seriously feel like I want to puke. I seriously do. Because you get these guys together and let's put 50 Cent and Vinnie Jones in it. This dead guy who did not direct action because they didn't want an action movie, they wanted a thriller, but it's not thrilling or suspenseful at all. And let's not have action in the film. And this gets a trilogy. Not that movie, not Tango Cash, not films like Showdown Little Tokyo or all these other movies that could have had sequels and trilogies. No. Escape Plan is getting a trilogy. That's fucking bullshit. I'm fucking done. Fuck this flick. Fucking bullshit. Fucking goddamn it. Fuck.